All right, we ready to go? Okay, just quick about today. Today was one of those days where it's kind of the middle of spring ball, I thought. We worked some third downs. We worked some coming out, some situational stuff that, we hit and miss a little bit on offense, honestly. So it's that midpoint of spring ball where you really got to push through, and that's kind of what I challenged that side of the ball after practice. Like, hey, man, look, obviously, we're in the middle of spring. The newness is worn off. We got to push through. Everybody in the country is going through the same thing, and not that it was a really bad day, but we're just trying to hold them to a really high standard. And I think we had some plays today where we didn't play to our standard, and that's something we got to get corrected. Some of that, I think, comes with repping different combinations of O-linemen, different combinations at quarterback, running back even. We had a young guy in there late. I think he busted a protection, and that's part of the growth process of him, so you can't blame him. But, all in all, still great attitude. Our guys, I thought they moved around well. Energy was good. Weather was great, obviously, as it usually is. And I thought the defense today probably came out on top, if I had to just say, off the naked eye, just from a standpoint. They were flying around pretty good, I thought. And so, be interesting for us to regroup and come out on Thursday in a scrimmage situation, put the ball down and play. It's a lot different than 4-play sets. We talked about that, I think, last week. And really what I want to see is our offense grow some in situational football, understanding that as it comes up, not pre-scripted. So that'll be something we'll take care of in scrimmage. But, again, all in all, really like our guys. I enjoy being around this group. They're a good group of kids, and they really hold themselves to a high standard. And our job is to make sure every day we hold them accountable for that. And that's what we're trying to do as coaches. Okay, question mark.
How critical is this Thursday with the scrimmage? Is it going to be a little bit more wide open? So the last time was more country on 70% run.
Yeah, my experience with coach has always been that first one's kind of a old school base down scrimmage. Who can block, who can tackle, who can hold the ball, who can create stuff on defense. That's every time I've been with him. That's the way we've done it. And playbook opens a little more in scrimmage too, and obviously on defense as well, though. And I think what we got to do is now try to put our quarterbacks in situations during the scrimmage to see how they handle, certain situations, getting protections right, especially in third downs, making great decisions, protecting the ball a little bit more. And, if you look at last week, we have a lot of room to grow there, which is a good thing. And the great thing about that room, though, is those guys take it personal, and they're working each and every day to get better. And you don't see any complacency or anything like that. It shouldn't be when you have a competition going on. But, I think this scrimmage, I think you'll see us be a little more wide open so we can really see kind of where everything falls.
You mentioned maybe the defense looked better to you just from the naked eye.
Yeah.
As a coach, as an offensive coach, and you're evaluating everyone, is it challenging to evaluate, if the defense has a good day, the offense has a bad day, it's still good on good?
Yeah.
So it's not like you're,
yeah.
Is that hard to evaluate?
Well, when you're the head coach, yeah, that's the good thing. I think that's you kind of look at the positive. When you're the offensive coordinator, you're wanting your guys to be on top every day. Who knows? I mean, I'm on the sideline directing it from there, so hard to tell really. Just from a feel I got, we had some issues we need to get corrected. But don't get me wrong, I thought we did some good things too. We flew around and played hard and on physical and all that. And you got to remember, we're working like coming out today, which is the -1 yard line. Well, that's hard already, right? We're working third downs and mediums and longs. That's hard already. So you're putting the offense in a position that they're going to see on Saturdays that is tough, and that's the only way you're going to get better. If you said every down was a base down, nobody'd feel any pressure, and the defense would be pretty vanilla and so forth. But, from my standpoint, I want our team to win, first of all, and then offensive coordinator, I want our offense to at least execute at a high level.
Coach, what's been your experience with during games? Are you in the booth? Are you watching from above? Are you on the field? Or
I've done it both ways. When I was with Coach earlier, I was up. Actually, I was on the field early on in that first year. Obviously, as a head coach, you're on the field. I would say I've done both. If I'm on the field, I want to make sure I got somebody that can answer the questions I want to hear. But, in this situation, we hadn't really even talked about it, but I'm sure I'll be up helping coach. That's probably going to be my role. And, I think that'll give me the best advantage. But who knows? Coach may have a different idea. You never know. But, I feel comfortable in either place.
How much do you feel that your head coaching experience has really helped you throughout this spring?
You know what? I'm probably a lot better assistant coach now that I've been a head coach because you kind of understand what the head coach is dealing with. When you're the head coach, your door gets knocked on a lot, and you're dealing with all kinds of problems, right? When you're the offensive coordinator, it's kind of narrowed down to just the offense. You still got to deal with academics and all the things that go along with it. But I think, my goal here, coming here, and Coach and I talked about this, is hopefully I can help him and take some things off of his plate that don't have to quite get to him, especially when you're a first-time head coach at a new place. I think everyone in the organization probably is like, okay, well, how does Coach want this handled? So you end up going to him a lot, right? And he ends up dealing with things that maybe here on his priority list that you might could have saved from getting to him. And I think maybe my experience as a head coach will help with that. And, I just always, that old saying about, I'll be a better assistant next time. When you're head coach, I'll be a better assistant next time. If I have to be, then I think that's definitely true because you're kind of thinking ahead a little bit. And, I think that's what we do. This staff, though, works together. We got a lot of former head coaches, whether high school, college, whatever, on this staff. And it's a very mature staff and guys that most of them have worked with Coach in the past. So I think that's a benefit for sure.
Where's John Rice in his development? I know early on we're talking about he hadn't been a quarterback the last 18 months. It's a new system. Are the mistakes less and less? Where is he kind of right now, 2/3 of the way in?
Yeah, he's grown tremendously in the 9 practices I think we've had now. He, I think now you're getting into the more details of playing the position, like seeing the different fronts and different coverages and making sure we get the protections right, making sure, when the box is loaded, when it's unloaded, and the RPO game, and just the little details of everything. And I explained this to the offense as a group a while ago. If you say, okay, here's one play, it's play X, whatever you want to call it. Well, there's an even look, there's an odd look, there's an okie look, there's a 2-high look, a 1-high look, a man look, a 0. In other words, you got to have an answer in that play for all those different scenarios, right? So as those things come up, the more those quarterbacks see them, the better they do. And you got a short amount of time to process that information and make the right decision. So the more he sees that, the better he's going to get. And that's kind of probably what he's missed the most. But at the same time, he's a quick learner, sharp, as well as Mikey, as well as Parker, as well as Thomas. I mean, Thomas, the growth he's had coming from high school just is tremendous. I told him walking down the hall today, from all the guys, the early enrollees that I've been with in the past, I think he's right up there at the top from the standpoint of growth, maturity, as quick as he has.
You mentioned Mikey on that note. How does he look, I don't know, over halfway or a little over halfway?
Yeah.
How has he, maybe grown or continue to grow at this point in the spring?
Well, the first thing, physically, he's grown from what I see on film to where I think he is now. You can tell Mikey's played in this offense for a year. You can see that, the way he handles himself, his demeanor, and the way he handles the communication and so forth. He doesn't have to think as hard maybe on some things. He's pretty much going to make the right decision most all the time. I think for him, it's just sometimes speeding up the decision, as well as obviously some newer looks now that maybe he didn't see first year and so forth. But I'm really pleased with him. He's very solid, very steady. He doesn't get too rattled. He's not too high. You can't tell if he's had a great day or a bad day. He's one of those kind of guys, and I think that maturity is really paying off for him.
Have you made the decision whether the top quarterbacks will be live on Thursday? And if so, would that maybe benefit a quarterback like John Rice, who maybe might feel his handcuffed a little bit when he can't run free?
Yeah, I think it benefits all of them because when they're not live, you're so, as a head coach, I know this, you're so conscious about blowing it. Somebody gets close. Well, he might have slipped out. That would have been a big play, but that'd be coach's decision. I'm not real sure where he's at on that yet. I know we've talked back and forth about it, but I'm not sure if he's really made that decision.
Do you tinker with a quarterback's throwing motion at all, or does doing so mess up what they're used to?
Not a whole lot, to be honest with you, because we probably don't sign them. Hopefully, if it's if it's a really bad throwing motion or whatever. But at the same time, I think there's always mechanically things they can tighten up and improve on, whether it's just getting on top of the ball or overstriding or the basic things. I don't think you can change the way a guy throws once they get here. And if you look at the history of football, I know I'm from the state of Alabama, grew up there, and Phillip Rivers I saw coming up as a high school guy. You guys remember him playing in the NFL for, 20 years maybe? And he threw really three-quarter, and in fact, I remember no in-state school wanted him. He went to NC State and just lit it up, and he played forever in the NFL, and he throws different than everybody. So I think from your standpoint, hopefully in recruiting, we're able to recruit guys that already have that ability. And I don't think you can sign a guy thinking, you know what, I'll just get him here and I'll make him throw more over the top than 3/4 or whatever, because I think he might not be the guy you think he is if you do that.
I know Alec Holler had a big year last year. Then you bring in Kamori Gamble, who I believe was Florida's third leading receiver this past year. So having tight ends that can catch the ball, how much is that going to change the offense?
That's huge. This offense over the years, we've when I was with Coach before, we really had more fullback type guys. We didn't have those tight end guys, and we recruited some when I left, and I think a lot of those guys are still there now. But to answer your question, Alec, steady, very intelligent. You can tell he's a veteran, played a lot. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and when he does, he usually doesn't repeat it. Kamori's very, very talented. Really, you can see that naturally. His deal now is just catching up on terminology, and once he lines up and knows the assignment, he's pretty good at it. And we're going to play 11 most of the time, I think, and then obviously some 12 too. And we're going to need probably four good tight ends, and I think on our roster we have the ability to have that. They're all continuing to grow. Coach Blackman's doing a great job with them, but yeah, it's nice to have those two for sure.
What are the biggest questions you have left unanswered with this amount of time left in the spring camp?
Yeah, I think obviously for me, quarterback-wise, is where will this pecking order kind of fall, and it probably, I'm sure, won't be answered till the fall, I guess. But you'd like to see those guys really the last, I guess, what we got 6 practices left. You'd like to see them take a big step from, and not to say they haven't improved, but you'd like to take them a big step where that way the summer gets here and then the captain's practices, they can lead them and know what they're doing. And then in the fall, it's not like we're having to repeat, the basic things. We can kind of start. I think that's one thing personally. I think our O-line, finding that right combination, we lost, I guess, 3 pretty good players or 2 pretty good players, 3, I guess, up front. And, I think we've got some talent there for sure. But what combination works best, this guy here or there or wherever, and Coach Hand does a great job with that. We got a decent, a veteran receiving crew. I think I'm pleased with those guys, and maybe a little more depth there. Some guys step up to help us there, but overall, I think it's just us getting the right combination of guys, figuring out what guys do what the best, and try to get them in those spots as many times as you can.
Coach, along those lines, talking about the pecking order with the quarterbacks, are you still kind of mixing in different quarterbacks with the 1s and the 2s and the 3s and kind of mixing it up? And how has that been going for all the quarterbacks?
Yeah, it's been going. I mean, it's somewhat frustrating sometimes because it's not the same guy, and that combination of, I was talking about playing together. But, yeah, we're still rotating those guys. It's spring ball, and that's kind of what that's for. And, I want those guys to have every opportunity, all of them, to succeed. And so we're continuing to rotate them and try to get them all the same number of reps in the same situations and see how it all plays out.
Got a little bit of breaking news for you. Tiger Woods is going to play this weekend. Do you have a Masters pick?
Is that for sure?
You just said it in a press conference that
wow.
as of right now, he's going to play.
I tell you what, it'd be hard to bet against Tiger. I grew up watching him, but he is coming off a long dry route there. So I like. I'm a Dustin Johnson guy. I wish Dustin Johnson would get it. I think he's already won it once, right? Yep. So I'd like to see him repeat it. So I'm gonna pick Dustin Johnson. All right, thanks. Appreciate it.